Right now on KGW Plus, an accused thief hides inside a closet of a Northwest Portland restaurant, waiting to strike until after the building cleared out. What they stole and how much lottery money the owners say they got away with.
And if you look around to all of these businesses that are being targeted, the one common thing is they all have lottery.
Plus, new details continue to be released that shine a light on the investigation into Brian Koberger, the man convicted of murdering 4 University of Idaho students. What records show was and was not on his cell phone when police finally got a hold of it.
I have worked major terrorism investigation, and these terrorists would have more contacts than that.
And we're tracking the latest on Hurricane Erin as it strengthens back to a Category 4. The dangers expected to hit the East Coast, plus new video from inside the storm ahead on this 8 o'clock hour of Sunrise. Good morning, and thank you for joining us live at 8 o'clock. I'm China Green. Rod Hill, Chris McGinnis are standing by for a look at weather and traffic. Let's start off with some weather.
Yeah, and after seeing thank you, China, the video from Hurricane Erin over Puerto Rico, and China's got more on that coming up. Our surf looks pretty quiet, doesn't it? Yeah, just kind of 1 to 3 foot swells rolling in this morning. Cloudy skies, radar picking up some rain showers offshore, but so far the beaches have been dry, and we think eventually the clouds show favoritism of breaking up somewhat this afternoon. But like yesterday, including Portland, we're probably going to end up with more cloudiness than sunshine total. 65 out there right now. We'll look for partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies through the day. 70 at noon. I have us getting up to 79 degrees at 5. Should be a real comfortable day out there. Chris?
And you know it's looking like a real easy drive so far? This I-5 from Wilsonville. There's plenty of cars out there, but we're zipping along and pretty close to the speed limit commute on that side of town. Highway 26 out near the Sylvan Hill. Busy but moving, coming down the hill from, well, the zoo and off to that's the Jefferson exit ramp, by the way, over on the left-hand side of your screen. All of these cars, of course, heading into the Vista Ridge Tunnel. 20 minutes gets you in from Hillsboro. 20 minutes gets you in from Troutdale. 24 minutes gets you in from Wilsonville. None of these drive times are all that bad for this hour of a Monday morning commute. So while things are quiet, let me let you know about this. Steel bridge inspections this week. More on that in a few minutes. A 1-month closure of Rocky Point Road and Highway 26 Coast Range repairs will mean some delays out near milepost 13. I will break this down in more detail coming up in just a few minutes. China.
Thank you, Chris. One person is dead and another seriously injured after police say they were hit by a semi-truck. This happened just before 3 o'clock Sunday morning at Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Holiday near the entrance to the Oregon Convention Center. One person died at the scene while the other was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. The driver of the semi kept going but was eventually stopped in southeast Portland. Police are asking anyone with information to reach out. An investigation is underway in Hillsboro after a house fire sent 2 people to the hospital with serious injuries. It happened Saturday morning on Northeast 4th Avenue by Evergreen Middle School. Firefighters were able to get the 2 people out of the home less than 10 minutes after the first 911 call was made. A second crew helped put out the fire. Meantime, 2 apartments were damaged and 3 people were injured, including 1 firefighter, after a Sunday morning fire at Northwest 23rd and Overton. Crews rescued a man through a 2nd-story window. He was seriously hurt with burns and smoke inhalation. A firefighter hurt his back while carrying him down. Another resident suffered minor injuries and was taken to the hospital. A dog and cat died in that fire. Gresham police are searching for whoever destroyed a portable toilet Saturday night. It was initially reported as gunshots just after 10 at Southwest Sandalwood Lane and 38th Street. Officers and the explosive disposal unit responded only to find that someone set off a firework in a porta potty. No word on any suspects. A local doctor is sounding the alarm after he says a person dressed in a hospital scrubs slipped into his office and stole a number of checkbooks and cashed a forged check for over $2,000. John Adams brings us a story.
Dr. Mark LaGrasse is a pediatric cardiologist at a clinic near Legacy Emmanuel in Portland. He says on August 12th around 1 p.m., 2 individuals came into his clinic. One was wearing a white t-shirt, the other person was in hospital scrubs.
The person in the hospital scrubs entered a door which normally is only allowed for patients and staff and started going into doctors' offices, including mine.
Dr. LaGrasse says the person was noticed by other employees, but wasn't thought to be an intruder.
She was seen by 2 of my staff who I think assumed she was there related to my activities, checking a pacemaker. And that person went into my office and went to my backpack and stole 3 of my checkbooks.
The two individuals then left the clinic. They were only there for a total of 7 minutes. Just 2 hours later, there was an attempt to cash a forged check totaling $2,300 from LaGrasse's checkbook. That attempt was denied. But the thieves were later able to cash a $2,000 check at a different credit union. The brazen incident has left LaGrasse fearful for his safety and the safety of his staff and patients.
I'm concerned about impersonating hospital employees, the risk of danger to my staff and the doctors and the patients and families.
He is also concerned that his home may now be broken into because the thieves have his address. LaGrasse hopes that someone can help identify who these people are and report them to Portland police before they strike again.
I think there'll be people in the community who will recognize these two and will say, hey, I know that person. So if they can, reach out.
John Adams, KGW News.
A Northwest Portland restaurant is out tens of thousands of dollars after the owner says a person hid in the closet for nearly an hour until the restaurant closed and then stole a lottery safe. This happened last Thursday at the Mad Greek Deli. You can see in this video here from the surveillance, the suspect tries to take the safe but is unsuccessful at first, but moments later, they try again and manage to pull the safe up from the floor and walk out the restaurant. We spoke to the owner of the restaurant who says the safe had nearly $30,000 inside. He also says that this is the second time lottery money has been stolen from his restaurant in 6 months.
Someone is willing to hide next to a water heater that's 200 degrees for an hour to come out while people are still in the building to take a safe from the property. There's no telling what they would do.
The Washington County Sheriff's Office says that the safe was found empty in Beaverton the next morning. Hundreds of nurses at Legacy Mount Hood Medical Center have voted to authorize a strike after nearly 2 years of negotiations. Nurses claim Legacy Health is refusing to, quote, make meaningful investments in recruiting and retaining frontline caregivers. They've been without a contract since joining the Oregon Nurses Association in April of 2023. Negotiations began in December of that year, and one nurse told us that part of the delay was due to the now canceled merger between Legacy and OHSU.
Since that point, Legacy hasn't made a lot of meaningful forward progress. And so we did everything we could to try to compel them to get closer to us and to make some movement. But it just has taken so long, and the nurses were ready for action.
A potential strike date has not been set, but the union says that they'll be ready to hit the picket line if they cannot come to an agreement during the 2 mediation sessions later this month. Legacy Health responded to the vote in a statement saying, in part, we remain hopeful that we can reach an agreement with our nurses, and we continue to engage in good faith bargaining with the Oregon Nurses Association. We are just a few days away from many kids in our area returning to school, and recently experts have noticed a drop in vaccination rates among the youngest learners. Sunrise reporter Thomas Schultz joins us live from Chapman Elementary in Northwest Portland. So Thomas, what are we seeing here?
Well, China, researchers have found that over the past decade, the amount of kids, especially those kindergartners in Oregon, getting all of their school-mandated vaccines has fallen. Meanwhile, the amount of exemptions has gone way up. That's according to the Oregon Immunization Program. Last year, nearly 10% of Oregon kindergartners had a non-medical exemption for a school-required vaccine. That's a big uptick from 2015, when under 6% of kindergartners had a vaccine exemption. Experts say the fall in vaccine rates leads to more outbreaks, making it all the more important to see the overwhelming majority of kids get vaccinated.
To protect public health, we like to see those rates upwards of 95% or higher to really prevent outbreaks, and that's where the concerns are being raised.
And the lack of vaccines is having consequences. Last year, the U.S. had more than 1,300 measles cases. And in Oregon, more kids are not getting vaccinated for measles either. This past school year, the Oregon Immunization Program says more than 8% of Oregon kindergartners were not fully vaccinated against the disease. And that's a trend that experts are trying to end. They say that all kids before kindergarten should get all those school-required vaccines that they need. And they say what that will do is make classrooms and schools all a lot safer. China.
Thank you, Thomas. And a reminder for you that KGW School Supply Drive is going on right now. One of the best ways you can help is to give online. Just go to kgw.com/school and click Donate Cash. We want to thank On Point Community Credit Union, Safeway, and Rick's Custom Fencing for everything they're doing to make this year's supply drive a success. Your time now is 8:10. Headed over to Rod Hill for a look at weather. Look at that beautiful view.
Yeah, it's pretty, right? A lot of cloud cover, but simply gives us some definition, something to look at. We are dry out over the vineyard this morning. We think today will be a lot like yesterday. Mostly cloudy this morning and then becoming partly sunny-ish, if you will, at times. Temperatures this morning, here's the Chehalem Tasting Room camera out in Sherwood, 61 degrees. Downtown Portland, and the number from PDX out along the Columbia is at 65. Winds are light. The wind direction today will be southwest, generally 5 to 15 miles per hour. 58 in Forest Grove. Everybody's reporting mostly cloudy conditions overall, 62 down in West Lynn. We've got 62 in Salem and 60 degrees down in Corvallis this morning. Forecast map for today. This is a good one. We've had some morning showers up around the Dalles. We have a few spotty showers in Gillum County right about in here right now. All of that activity is expected to fizzle and continue to move northward of our region. So mostly sunny skies out east this afternoon, holding in the 80s. Nobody's really going to be overly hot. About 80 in Bend. We've got sunshine this morning in Central Oregon. Clouds at the coast. Also, there's a decent chance Newport, Lincoln City will become partly sunny. Our Futurecast models show you folks up in Astoria remaining overcast. And we think the valley, like yesterday, will be partly sunny at times. 79 today, 80 tomorrow. Wednesday a bit brighter, 80 degrees, still pretty comfortable. And then we start to heat up. Right now, the upcoming weekend looks sunny with hot afternoons. 94 on Friday, 94 on Saturday. And we could make it to 90 on Sunday as well. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. Our Monday morning drive has actually been relatively kind to us here. We've got 4 cameras up to look at. I-5 northbound slowing a little bit through the curves, but otherwise no major trouble out there. So while we've got a quiet drive, let's talk about some things that are happening this week. Steel bridge inspections, a 1-month closure of Rocky Point Road, and some Highway 26 road work. In terms of the steel bridge inspection, ODOT will close one direction at a time throughout the week. That will impact TriMet service. It will not impact bikes and pedestrians. The East Bank, Esplanade, and whatnot, that will remain open. All right, Rocky Point Road, the county closing this for 1 month for culvert repair. The detour to get around this is going to be Logie Trail Road, so just be aware of that for the folks that live and travel through the West Hills. And going through the Coast Range, the North Oregon Coast Range, Highway 26, ODOT doing some major repairs to the bump. The bump was that heaving that occurred on the road last winter, and they've been doing a series of fixes around that. Now they've got the heavy artillery out there to really do some major work. And to do that, 4 lanes will be closed to 2. The speed limit will be reduced to 25 miles an hour, and traffic obviously is going to have to slow significantly through here. This is a pretty big impact. About 14,000 cars and trucks use this stretch of Highway 26 every day, and the work will be ongoing from 6 a.m. until as late as 4:30 p.m. Monday through Thursday. China.
Thank you, Chris. Hurricane Erin is back to a Category 4, churning north after pelting the Caribbean. Ahead on Sunrise, we'll show you the incredible video NOAA hurricane hunters captured from inside the eye of the storm. Then later.
All eyes on the White House today, where President Trump is hosting Ukraine's president along with several European allies following that summit in Alaska with Russian President Vladimir Putin. I'm Alice Barr in Washington. Coming up, the latest details on what to expect.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On weather impact alert days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Hurricane Erin pelted parts of the Caribbean over the weekend and is now expected to create dangerous surf and rip currents along the U.S. East Coast this week. NBC's Jesse Kirst brings us the latest after talking to residents along the East Coast.
This morning, Hurricane Erin getting stronger, again becoming a Category 4 hurricane overnight. The storm moving north after a soaking weekend in the Caribbean and expected to bring with it life-threatening waves and rip currents up and down the East Coast. And while Erin crawled around Puerto Rico, the island was still slammed by strong waves and flash flooding. Puerto Rico's governor warning people about potentially treacherous conditions.
So those people visiting or going to rivers on the island, we advise you not to do it.
And off the coast of St. Croix, the U.S. Coast Guard says 2 men had to be rescued from rough seas. Meanwhile, NOAA hurricane hunters captured this incredible video by flying inside Erin's eerily peaceful eye. Now, Erin is expected to trek between the Atlantic's open waters between the mainland U.S. and Bermuda. And while the storm will likely stay over a couple hundred miles from the U.S., the impact on East Coast shores from those dangerous currents could still be deadly. The ocean threat top of mind after a 13-year-old girl drowned Friday night at the beach in Belmar, New Jersey, according to police, when lifeguards were off duty, marking the second deadly drowning along the Jersey shore in just a week. Meanwhile, with Hurricane Erin on the way, some people in coastal communities like North Carolina's Outer Banks are watching closely.
Hurricane Erin is supposed to stay hundreds of miles away from the U.S. mainland. Why does it still have your attention?
We've had so many of these in the past. We're expecting between 15 to 40 foot waves on shore. And I used to surf a lot, and that kind of stuff is scary.
And waves that big obviously would cause some beach erosion. The actual track right now has that storm about 300 miles offshore from the U.S. as it migrates north. And as I show you the latest loop on this, remember you're on what we call the back edge of the storm, which in the Atlantic Basin, this would be the west side of the storm. Not nearly as dangerous in terms of winds and rainfall, but clearly the big surf is a threat. Most of the worst of these storms are on the forward side or the east side. Now, Puerto Rico is still getting some rain this morning right there. Here's the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Here's Cuba back here. This is the Turks and Caicos Islands. The storm is expected to come up this way. Here's the Bahamas. And then, of course, you got Bermuda right there. So lots of islands that will be watching this track very, very carefully. Category 4 storm winds sustained around the center eye wall at 140 miles per hour. Again, this track more than 300 miles out to sea from the U.S. mainland. So if this is true, there might not even be that much rain. The concern would solely be, for the most part, strong surf, which can bring beach erosion. Of course, very hazardous conditions to anybody that would be in the water itself. But this is Wednesday, so midweek, and then starts the weekend and turn farther up to the northeast. Typically, when you watch the news coverage on these storms, not always, but almost always, when these storms are north of, say, Puerto Rico, they almost always continue to turn up to the north. To get a storm into the U.S. mainland, you need it more down here, threatening Cuba, and then these storms can turn north and hit the U.S. East Coast or continue into the Gulf. So I would say confidence at this point is really high. That storm will do what the Hurricane Center is projecting, and that is stay some 300 miles offshore of the U.S. mainland. Big low sitting offshore, and it's the reason we had a lot of cloudiness yesterday. It's the reason we're getting a lot of cloudiness this morning. It's the reason we've got some showers popping in Gillum County, and earlier we had a rain shower over the Dalles. Radar's picking up some shower activity near, but so far offshore of the coast. And if you look at the visible satellite picture, now the white is the clouds, but see the definition of the little ripples here? Makes you, and even down here in Salem, there's some cumulus convective definition here, which makes me think, well, there could be a trace of moisture this morning somewhere inland as well. So far, just clouds and not reporting any precipitation from them. Here's Timberline, where the clouds of a moment ago you could see the summit. Now you can't, so that's evidence of the base height, or not base, but the height of the clouds overall, 48 degrees up at the lodge. Here's the cloud deck over the state capitol, 62. And here we are from the Reserve Vineyards Golf Club below. This shows a few breaks, and we do expect to eventually become kind of partly sunny today. Inland temperatures in the valley, 60 in Seattle and 60 or better all the way down through Portland. Here's the 7-day forecast for you. 79 today. Overall, a real similar day to yesterday, kind of mostly cloudy, partly sunny. 80 tomorrow, more of a bright sunny day on Wednesday, 83. Then we start to heat up. I've got us 88 on Thursday and getting up into the 90s on Friday and Saturday at 94 each. Here's Chris.
All right, Rod, let's give you a look at the drive right now. Volume really light across town. I mean, like really light. Like I think a lot of folks are on vacation this week because it is that light out there. There's I-5 near Kirby. Yes, sorry, I have no control over the feed here. It's not a still shot. There we go. I-5 south of town near the Twilliger curve, still zipping right along. Inbound Sunset, riding the brakes a little bit from Sylvan. We'll take you there. This is Skyline Boulevard, and from there into the tunnel, it's about 19 miles an hour or so. A quick look at your drive time, 18 minutes. 18 minutes. That's, you know, it can be double that this time of a normal morning commute. 18 minutes is the drive in from Hillsborough. 22 minutes right now, your drive northbound from Wilsonville. China, so far, no major trouble out there.
Thank you, Chris.
If there's going to be a peace deal, it's not going to look like that.
Coming up, the latest on negotiations for peace in Ukraine, with President Trump set to meet with Ukraine's president later today.
KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Today, President Donald Trump will meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky following last week's summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington, D.C.
Today, the next step in the push for peace, with President Trump hosting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House, along with several European leaders signaling their support for Ukraine's interests and future security in any peace deal with Russia. President Trump posting overnight, "Never had so many European leaders at one time. My great honor to host them," while Zelensky cautioned against past moves giving up Ukrainian territory, which he said Putin simply used as a springboard for a new attack. Russian President Vladimir Putin, fresh off his Friday summit in Alaska with President Trump, is demanding to keep the roughly 20% of Ukraine that Russia now occupies. Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying the U.S. is not pressing for that.
If there's going to be a peace deal, it's not going to look like that.
while defending the Trump administration's push for a broader peace deal over the ceasefire Ukraine and Europe want first, but Russia denied. President Trump had said there would be severe consequences if Putin said no. Secretary Rubio now saying imposing more sanctions imperils negotiations.
The minute he takes those steps, all talk stop.
Democrats slamming the administration's approach and Putin's red carpet treatment in Alaska.
And so Putin walks away with his photo op with zero commitments made and zero consequences. What a great day for Russia.
Special Envoy Steve Witkoff saying Russia did agree to strengthened NATO-like security guarantees for Ukraine from the U.S. and Europe. A lot on the line when Ukraine gets its seat at the table today. President Trump also posted overnight that Zelensky could end the war almost immediately, seeming to put the onus on Ukraine while appearing to refer to more of Putin's demands to stop the Russian assault. The president saying there's no getting back Crimea, ceded more than a decade ago, and no Ukraine joining NATO. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Coming up in our next half hour, a new transitional home meant to house dozens of women and children in Washington County is nearing completion. But first, new documents released by Idaho State Police reveal new details into the case against Brian Koberger, the man who murdered 4 University of Idaho students. What the documents show ahead at 8:30.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
Issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Good morning, I'm China Green. Hundreds of nurses at Legacy Mount Hood Medical Center have voted to authorize a strike after nearly 2 years of negotiations. Nurses claim Legacy Health is refusing to, quote, make meaningful investments in recruiting and retaining frontline caregivers. Legacy Health told us that they, quote, continue to engage in good faith bargaining and hope to reach an agreement with the nurses. A potential strike date has not yet been set. Headed over to Rod Hill for a look at weather.
Yeah, nice quiet morning out there. Not much in the way of bright sunshine. Mostly cloudy skies from the coast to Salem up through Portland. You can see a little bit of blue over the cityscape at this hour. 65 is the current temperature. This will be a day very similar to what we had yesterday. Kind of partly sunny, mostly cloudy, 70 degrees at noon, getting up to about 79. I do have our 7-day as all dry. I've got us pretty comfortable tomorrow, 80, 83 Wednesday. And then with clear skies, we start to heat up. So right now for your weekend plans, 94 Friday, 94 Saturday. I still think we could hit 90 degrees on Sunday. And that's your forecast on a Monday.
Good morning. Your time is 8:30 on your Monday. We're starting this half hour with a live look from our sky cam at the Chehalem casing room out there. It looks a little cloudy, a little dark for 8:30 this morning. And we're going to start you off with your weather to kind of learn what that might morph into.
So if you look at the visible imagery, which is just now kind of starting to get bright enough to see, you can see some pretty good kind of cumulus development out there. And we've had some showers offshore. We've had showers east over the Dalles and Gillum County. And I think it's at least possible we get a trace of rain at some point this morning at the coast and even in the valley, especially up in southwest Washington. Overall, this is a dry day with mostly cloudy to partly sunny skies expected. This is Lincoln City. Some folks out enjoying a nice walk on the beach early this morning. Winds are calm out there, 59. There are some breaks in the cloud deck over downtown Portland. We are at 65. Again, generally a day like we had yesterday with kind of mostly cloudy to partly sunny skies, 70 at noon and 79 at 5 p.m. Should be sunny this afternoon and holding in the 80s out east. Nobody's expected to hit 90 degrees. The Dalles will be up to about 80. Again, you had that early morning shower. 81 in Madras, 80 in Bend. Nice, mostly sunny day over in Central Oregon. And then we'll look for the partly sunny-ish skies, if you will. Probably more clouds holding on to the north and more noticeable clearing as you drop to the south. This does keep us in the 70s from Eugene, actually all the way up into the Kelso-Longview area. And on a Monday, here's our 7-day, which is dry. How about 3 pretty comfortable days to start? 79 today, then 80, 83, and then we start to warm up. Upper 80s on Thursday and expecting to be up into the 90s on Friday, Saturday, and maybe still hitting 90 this coming Sunday. Here's Chris.
It's a dry heat, right? So we got that going for us. All right, let's get you out the door. One trouble spot right now in Yamhill County, south of the Gaston area, actually. ODOT dealing with a crash on Highway 47 near Cove Orchard Road. The road, from what we can tell, remains open, but watch out for the local slowing around that. Inbound Sunset, riding the brakes, of course, a little bit near the zoo, but not bad. And as we check out some of the other cameras, we're really in pretty good shape out there this morning. There's I-5 through the Twilliger curves, a little bit of northbound slowing, and of course the Sunset, that's riding a little thick as well. A couple things to tell you about in just a few minutes. We've got a steel bridge inspection this week, a closure of Rocky Point Road, and an update on Highway 26 road work in the Coast Range. China, more on this in about 8 minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Your time now is 8:32. A flood of new documents released by police are shedding new light on what happened the night Brian Kohberger murdered 4 University of Idaho students. NBC's Morgan Chesky brings us the latest.
Chilling new details about the night Brian Kohberger entered an off-campus house in Moscow, Idaho, and began a brutal rampage that left 4 college students dead. Newly released documents from Idaho State Police reveal a surviving roommate told officers she heard Kohberger call one of the victims by name, saying she heard a male say, "It's okay, Kaylee, I'm here for you." Kaylee Gonzalez was fatally stabbed in bed on the 3rd floor along with Madison Mogan. Their friends Xander Kernodle and Ethan Chapin were both murdered downstairs. Kohberger accepted a plea deal that kept him from facing the death penalty, but after the verdict, Kaylee's parents told Today they're still haunted by unanswered questions in the case.
We asked them, can you just tell us the last moments of our daughter? They wouldn't even give us the facts of what happened.
Forensic experts hired by prosecutors to examine Kohberger's cell phone say he effectively wiped it of content for the month surrounding the murders.
I think the gap in the digital data is the loudest piece.
They say Kohberger also did not have a lot of contacts in his phone.
I have worked major terrorism investigation, and these terrorists would have more contacts than that.
But called his parents, who he referred to as mother and father, constantly, including the morning after the murders.
He needed mother and father, clearly every single day and every single night. He had a lot of selfies where he would be topless and posing and flexing. Definitely gave you like that American Psycho feel. We think he loved himself.
The police documents also include new interviews with Kohberger's criminal justice peers and professors at Washington State University. One fellow PhD student told police she talked with Kohberger about the murders weeks after they happened, saying he told her whoever had committed the homicides must have been pretty good, noting that the timing right before students left for winter break made it a good choice.
Oregon State Police are investigating a crash that killed 1 person and sent 6 others to the hospital. It happened just before 9:50 last Thursday night in Deschutes County, just south of Bend. Police are trying to find out why a Honda Accord heading northbound on Highway 97 crossed into the opposing lanes and hit an Honda Odyssey. The driver of the Accord was pronounced dead at the scene. All 6 people in the Odyssey, including 4 girls between the ages of 9 and 17, were taken to the hospital, many with serious injuries. Police have arrested a man they say pointed a gun at a family while they were in their car. It happened around 10:15 last Friday night near Southeast Stark Street and 257th and Gresham. A suspect, 25-year-old Hector Gomez Rivas, was booked into the Multnomah County Detention Center. Luckily, no one was hurt. 4 years after a man was stabbed to death in rural Marion County, his parents are still holding out hope for answers. In August of 2021, a suspect or suspects attacked Travis Jutton and his wife at their home. Travis's wife, Hazel, survived. We heard from Travis's mother, who says that she hasn't heard from the sheriff's office since reaching out in June, adding that she hasn't received an official update since last April.
It's extremely frustrating. Travis was murdered in a house that I was raised in. And I know that house very well. I know that area very well. I can tell you, no stranger walked into that house and killed my son. That just didn't happen.
Travis was 26 years old. A $50,000 reward is still available for the person who can give information leading to an arrest and conviction. Today, the Kansas City Council introduced its camping ban. The ban would prevent camping in any park, street, public property, or areas vulnerable to wildfire. It would also ban sleeping on public sidewalks. First-time offenders could face a fine of up to $100. This ban comes after the Supreme Court's ruling that sided with Grants Pass over a ban on camping on public property. Meantime, a new women's transitional home and recovery center in Washington County is nearing the finish line. KGW's Jake Holter got a tour of the new 53,000 square foot facility.
So this new facility will be able to house 80 women and children from a couple months to a couple years.
So this would be commons area here.
Union Gospel Mission Executive Director Matt Stein giving us the grand tour of their newest facility, a recovery center and transitional home for women and children.
A place that exists that when a lady says, I'm stuck, I need help, I'm scared, they can come in the doors here and get the help that they need.
Fully funded by private donors, the $22 million, 53,000 square foot facility boasts 56 rooms for women and children in various walks of life. Rooms can hold anywhere from a single woman to a mom with 5 kids.
If I'm running from something, if I'm stuck in life, you can come in the door and get stable and then start to turn a corner and dream of your future. That's what we really want this place to be.
For those in transitional housing, you can still work at your outside job. For those in recovery, there are jobs inside the facility to help ease through the recovery process. The facility also hosts an education center, a children's activity center, a commercial kitchen, a counseling center, and a chapel.
Having toured it many times when it's just the frame, but now seeing all the finishing touches, I'm just amazed at how intentional the whole building was put together.
Over the next 10 years, Union Gospel Mission plans to offer more than 2,000 women and children a chance at new life.
Couldn't be more thankful that we have the chance to help and impact the Portland community and be one more voice saying people are cared about, they're loved, and they're okay when they're coming in with us.
And the grand opening for Union Gospel Mission's new Rock Creek facility is September 13th. Reporting in Rock Creek, Jake Holter, KGW News.
In Happy Valley, a historic cemetery has reopened to the public for the first time in more than 150 years. The Christilla Pioneer Cemetery was established in 1852. It holds 29 marked graves, many of them pioneers of the Oregon Trail. The project was inspired by a longtime community member whose ancestry links him to one of the Happy Valley's founding families. Southeast Portland has a brand new grocery store. 99 Ranch Market off Southeast 106th Avenue and Washington Street held its grand opening over the weekend. There was a line out the door even after the store opened. The company says 99 Ranch is one of the largest Asian supermarket chains with more than 50 stores in 10 different states.
So we're excited to be here. We've been thinking about Portland for a long time. Every time we come into a new city, we want to become a fabric of that community, and that's what we're here to do, and to help bring more people in.
This is the second Oregon location after one opened in Beaverton in 2017. All right, your time now is 8:39. We are headed over to Chris. Take a look at traffic.
And it's been a pretty good morning drive so far, China. Check this out. All four of my cameras zipping right along all four directions heading into downtown. I don't have any major freeway trouble out there right now. So let's get you up to speed on some other happenings this week. The Steel Bridge, we'll start with that. Inspections ongoing this week, all week long. ODOT will close one lane at a time, one direction at a time. Your detours around that will be the Broadway and the Burnside Bridge. We also hear from TriMet that this will at least temporarily impact MAX and bus service across the bridge. So just be aware of that. Check trimet.org for more on that. By the way, the bike and pedestrian accesses in the East Bank Esplanade not impacted by that inspection. In Multnomah County, Rocky Point Road closes today for 4 weeks at least as the county does some culvert repair just south of Highway 30. Logie Trail Road is going to be your detour around that. And last but not least, this impacts thousands of people that drive through the Oregon Coast Range. Highway 26 through Clatsop County. You may recall the bump, the area of Highway 26 that heaved during the winter and created a really significant bump in the area. ODOT's been doing some on and off temporary fixes since then. Now it's getting a major fix here. So just know this, for the next month at least, we'll be down from 4 lanes to 2. Speeds drop to 25 miles an hour as ODOT does some work on the drainage and some excavating, and eventually they'll pave and restripe it. China, this work is expected to take at least a month on Highway 26 in Clatsop County. Back to you.
Thank you, Chris.
We just have a lot of kids who can't read. 60% of Oregonian children are below reading level.
Students still playing catch up when it comes to reading levels. Just ahead, we're taking a look at one literacy program in Southeast Portland that's working to change that.
Hey, I'm Blair Best, and we hope you've been joining us for The Story each weeknight at 6:30. If you've got a story idea of your own, email us at thestory@kgw.com or call and leave us a voicemail, 503-226-5090. We'd love to hear from you. Have a great morning, and I'll see you tonight.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand.
Checker, checker, 1 2 1 2 1 2.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
It's certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
As students head back to the class, many are still playing catch up. Last year, less than half of Oregon's 8th graders met the state standard for English language arts, but a literacy program in Southeast Portland says it has plans to change that. KGW's Libby Dowsett has that story.
So if you're going to be teaching that student, they're going to repeat the word. This is a hard word to blend, ook, right?
It is not just students working the phonics board this summer. 30 newly trained tutors working with Portland's Blosser Center and Portland Public Schools have spent their summer teaching kids to read, write, and create in a unique pilot project.
At the beginning, it was like, don't want to be here. It's too early in the morning. It's summertime, you know? Reading? Who wants to do that?
Amber Hurst said it took some creative tutoring.
The games. They love the games.
But eventually, she broke through.
Once you get a hang of it, then they look forward to seeing you.
Hurst and her fellow tutors know it's not all fun and games when you look at the state of literacy in Oregon and the U.S.
We just have a lot of kids who can't read. 60% of Oregonian children are below reading level.
Tutors are finding many students are still floundering after the COVID-19 pandemic.
Could have been pandemic. It could be because they have dyslexia, or they have what they call another comorbidity, or ADHD, or a learning disability, or whatever it is.
This summer's Leap Into Sixth Grade pilot project in July focused on struggling fifth graders, taking on accelerated one-on-one tutoring in reading, writing, and robotics, a model the Blosser Center is now extending to any students.
It's 4 to 5 days a week, and it's 50 minutes a day, which is much more than kids generally get in school. But at that rate, we can get kids to grade level proficiency in 3 to 6 months.
Suzanne Legrand, the executive director of the Blosser Center, believes this model is the solution for getting struggling students back on track. She said results from the pilot project prove it.
In 19 days, almost all of the students jumped by up to 2 grade levels, which is incredibly significant. That is more than most kids do in a year.
Does the Val have a friend?
Yes.
Plus, with 30 new tutors ready to take on new students, even older students still struggling after COVID will have an opportunity to catch up.
It really gives them the leg up and a one-up for what they're going to expect in school.
Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
Your time now is 8:46. Rod Hill is on the weather deck this morning. I haven't seen you up there, and he has glasses on. Oh, he means business, people. Business.
This is the most serious weather report I would give today, China.
Okay.
I'm up here on the weather deck, brought to you by Rick's Custom Fencing and Decking. And I'm looking around. I don't see anything that would resemble a realistic chance of any rain. There are quite a few breaks in the clouds. And if you look up yourself and you have a break over your neighborhood, you'll notice the cloud deck, you can tell, is pretty flat. Doesn't extend vertically much. And these are stratocumulus clouds. And we do think today will go on to be a mix of mainly partly sunny skies at times as we get rolling into this afternoon. From the weather deck, let's give you a view from the satellite picture. There's a big low sitting offshore, and this has been the case going all the way back into Thursday or so of last week. Of course, it brought us that what I'm referring to as a disappointing rain total Friday overnight. We thought we'd get at least a quarter of an inch or more. We ended up with Portland only had 1/15 of an inch of rain. Nobody in the valley that I saw had more than 2/10. Now, this morning, there are showers you can see working over eastern Washington. Other than that, we do expect to be primarily dry, with skies being kind of partly to mostly cloudy, as I mentioned, as we go through the day. All right, let's take a look at our Doppler radar. And again, you can see some showers offshore from Astoria. That's where they've been staying. There was an early shower over the Dalles, but that has moved off as well. Let's go to the next weather map, and we'll get you out the door with a live look from Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera. Temperature in Lincoln City this morning is setting at 60 degrees. And I think we have another live camera. The cameras from the coast to the valley have been pretty similar this morning. There's our state capital. Let's punch the button and see what Salem is reporting. 62 degrees is the number out the door this morning. So our forecast is looking pretty good, really. There are the breaks I'm seeing from our weather deck over downtown Portland. And one more temperature to show you from Portland, 65. Here are the regional temperatures on the map. There is a noticeable kind of in-my-face west breeze this morning to about 10 miles per hour here in downtown Portland. It's a mostly cloudy sky up through Seattle, by the way. And then we've got sunshine being reported over in central Oregon. As you look at current temperatures now toward Baker City, we're at 61. All right, 7-day forecast time. Generally all dry. Today, probably the cloudiest of the bunch, a high of 79, very similar to yesterday. Tomorrow, maybe a smidge brighter, 80, and then becoming mostly sunny, 83 on Wednesday. After that, you notice the temperature is heating up. 88 on Thursday. We'll be up into the 90s, it looks like, on Friday, Saturday, maybe hitting 90 degrees on Sunday as well. Well, on this Monday, yes, it's birthday time. Let's get to our party, and we start celebrating today with Jameson, who is 3 in Vancouver. Happy birthday to you. And also celebrating today is Finley out in Sandy. kicking back with the big glasses on there, 8 years young. Old, happy birthday to you. Now, that was the old category. This is the young category. Here's Loretta, 60 years young. Happy birthday to you. And Sandra is celebrating 71 years young. Happy birthday to you. And that's our list today. Send us your pictures to birthdays@kgw.com, and we will celebrate with you. Pretty comfortable up here. Let's go inside to Chris McGinnis.
And a pretty easy drive, too, this morning. Check this out, Rod, as we look at all of our ODOT cameras across the region. No major freeway trouble. We have been relatively unscathed here throughout the day today thus far. Let's take you to North Portland. There's I-5 up near Lombard. Your southbound commute doesn't really start slowing until you get down to the Fremont Bridge. 12 minutes gets you in from the Main Street area down to I-405. Inbound Sunset still rocking along at pretty close to the speed limit clip until you hit the Sylvan Hill, and then Interstate 84 to the Banfield. It's a little tight coming through the Hollywood district, but again, not bad. Here's a look at the drive times. 17 minutes gets you in from Hillsborough. 23 minutes gets you northbound from Wilsonville Road to downtown. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news, live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
In our top stories this morning, hundreds of nurses at Legacy Mount Hood Medical Center have voted to authorize a strike after nearly 2 years of negotiations. Nurses claim Legacy Health is refusing to, quote, make meaningful investments in recruiting and retaining frontline caregivers. Legacy Health told us that they, quote, continue to engage in good faith bargaining and hope to reach an agreement with the nurses. A potential strike date has not been set. Police have arrested a man they say pointed a gun at a family while they were in the car. It happened around 10:15 last Friday night near Southeast Stark Street and 257th and Gresham. The suspect, 25-year-old Hector Gomez Rivas, was booked into the Multnomah County Detention Center. Luckily, no one was hurt. And today, the Kansas City Council will introduce its camping ban. The ban would prevent camping in any park, street, public property, or areas vulnerable to wildfire. It would also ban sleeping on public sidewalks. First-time offenders could face a fine of up to $100. The ban comes after the Supreme Court's ruling last year that sided with a similar ban in Grants Pass, Oregon, which prohibited camping on public property.
All right, that 7-day forecast one more time. Just outdoors, feels nice out, mostly cloudy. There are breaks over the city at this moment. 79 today's expected high. This upcoming weekend looks to be our next round of hot 90s.
And the Monday morning drive has been kind to us. No major freeway delays out there. So while we've got your attention, I'll remind you that Northwest Rocky Point Road closes for a month this morning, just south of Highway 30 for culvert repair. Logie Trail Road's your detour around that. And Steel Bridge inspection begins today. It's all week. ODOT will alternate which direction they close. There will be some detours around that. There will be some TriMet impacts as well.
All right, one more story before we go. The ladies put on a show at Columbia Edgewater this weekend for the Portland Classic. University of Oregon junior amateur Kiara Romero finished 7th overall. This is her 3rd LPGA event. Meantime, Akiye Iwai hit a birdie on her final hole to claim the spot, and she joins her twin sister Shishato as rookie winners this year. And then Haydon Yu scored a hole-in-one, earning $50,000 towards a new Toyota. Take a look at this. 3, 2, 1.
Bang.
Hole-in-one.
I think that's a hard hole. Kind of is uphill from the tee box. I've never hit a good shot on that hole myself.
China, I'm going to say that every one of those holes is probably hard.
I have no idea anything about golf. Nothing. So you guys.
But a hole-in-one's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Like code.
The winner put $300,000 in her pocket. By the way, her first win on tour, so congratulations to her.
That's awesome. Hey, we want to remind you that you can watch Sunrise every day live here exclusively on KGW Plus at 7 o'clock. Have a great day.